Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you that have been following me for a while, do you guys remember that transmission leak I was fighting? Yeah, well it's back. It actually never left. If the truck sits for about 3 or 4 days, it makes a pretty good puddle, as you can see here. So, got the truck in here and transmission already removed. Let me show you what I found, actually. For those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I've been fighting a transmission leak for quite a while on this truck. And here, let me set this down. So, this is the old bell housing. And if you guys aren't familiar with these kind of bell housings, you cut the factory case bell housing off and then bolt this on. It uses the front pump bolts to hold it on, and basically this is an SFI certified bell housing. Protects you from anything happening. Say the flywheel or torque converter comes apart, this is an added safety protection between you and that flying ring of death. So, but yeah, this bolts on using the pump bolts, and this one uses O-rings. My other one that I bought to replace this one used a gasket, and basically what was happening is it kept leaking between this and the actual pump from the bolts. I thought it was, you can kind of see my silicone repair job here, but this one is actually cracked right here. See if you can see it on the other side. You can kind of see right there, it's cracked. But, so I thought that was my biggest problem with the leak on this. So I bought a new one and replaced it. And this one's all good and dandy. However, after I replaced it, and the truck sat for 2 or 3 days, it still leaked. Before I show you that, there is something that I never told you guys. When I was putting this new one on, there was one bolt, I think it was this one here, that, you know when you're torquing a bolt and it's almost to the torque value and the torque wrench is about to click and all of a sudden it gets looser? Yeah, that happened on, I believe it was this one right here. And, you know, I just thought, I don't really want to live with, I don't want to know what's wrong with it. I was probably getting it ready for something, and I was like, you know what, I'm not taking this back apart. We're gonna run it and watch it and see what happens. Well, now when I say it leaked, like I said, it had to sit for 2 or 3 days not running. And basically what it is when the torque converter drains, that's when it would start to leak. So if the thing was running or was started every day, it never leaked a drop. So it's not like I've been leaking fluid onto the track surface or the road or anything like that. Otherwise they wouldn't let me through tech if I was leaking fluids. So that's how I've kind of been getting away with it lately, is I've just been out here starting it and keeping it from leaking. But there for a while I let it sit for a few days and I come out and there's a trail of ATF under it, and it's really, really aggravating. But what's even more aggravating is what's causing it. So let me show you what I found. Yep. So this right here is where the pump, which is over there in the pan, but this is where the bump bolts on, And these are the bolt holes that hold the pump and that bell housing on. And you can see that it is cracked, and it has also been helicoiled already. Matter of fact, every one of these has a helicoil in it. So basically what that means is this transmission case is junk. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, now's the time to upgrade to an SFI case, you know, an aftermarket like Reed case or something like that, so I don't have any problems with scatter shield or passing tech or anything like that. But the problem is those things are expensive, and it's not really in my budget to buy one of those right now. So I'm gonna have to find a stock OEM case, cut the bell housing off, and transfer all of these parts from this transmission into that other case, and just run that for a while, and probably buy a scatter shield, because it's going to be a lot cheaper in the long run for me than buying the SFI aftermarket case. Yes, that would be the better route, but like I said, just right now, I plan on doing a whole lot of different changes to the truck right now, and I just can't afford to do that right now with all the other changes that I'm going to be doing. I figured since the transmission is out, I might as well go ahead. The motor mounts in this are pretty wore out already from all that two-stepping and popping and banging. They're just stock rubber motor mounts from like a V6 Astrovan, I think is what they're from. But so transmission's out, I might as well pull this thing out and replace the motor mounts, put some solid mounts in there, and going to be switching over to E85. So I've got some carb parts for that to get that thing switched over. I'm gonna have to do a different fuel pump and some different lines and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna be ditching power steering. Oh, and don't mind, see this like chalky residue on here? Everything's covered in it, and it pisses me off. I tried degreasing this thing the other day, and the degreaser I used didn't rinse off very well. It looked good when it was wet, but once it dried, now everything's chalky and white, which is really irritating. So I'm gonna have to clean that again. Ditching the power steering, so that's gonna free up some weight up here. I'm gonna be putting on the tubular upper control arms that I have, and I'm gonna be ditching these big brakes that I have. These are awesome brakes. They work really well. They're just heavy for drag racing. These are made by McGoy's out of California, and I don't know, I've heard from other people that have asked me about these that they're on like a really big back order. So these are kind of hard to find right now. So if any of you S10 guys are wanting a set of these big brake kits, hit me up. I'll make you a good deal on it. These kits brand new are like almost 900 bucks. They're pretty expensive, but basically it's a new hub. It comes with a 2-inch drop spindle. It's a new hub, so the brake rotor and the hub are no longer one piece. It's a floating rotor, so you can pull just the rotor off without having to do the wheel bearings and stuff like that. And then big dual piston caliper that's off of like I think like a 2007 and newer Silverado is basically what this caliper's off of. And 13-inch rotor, so it's a wicked good brake kit. It's just too heavy for drag racing. Another big thing that I'm really contemplating doing is moving this radiator to the rear. I went over all this stuff in the last video, so this is just kind of catching up those of you that haven't seen that video. But yeah, I'm really contemplating on moving the radiator to the rear, but I don't know how well that works with the belt-driven water pump. I don't want to do electric water pump. I don't want to do a remote water pump with remote thermostat and all that kind of stuff, because I started looking into that and it was pretty expensive. So if I move the radiator to the back, it would be ran off of the same stock belt-driven water pump. It would just be in the back of the truck. And if everything goes as planned right now, for what I'm thinking, there may be another big surprise here coming soon with the truck, or another big change, but I can't quite tell you guys about that yet. Also, something really exciting and new here is I'm right in the middle of installing AC in my garage. That right there is a Mr. Cool DIY 24K mini split. I'm gonna be doing a video on that too. So it's up here just kind of teasing me right now. It doesn't actually work, but here pretty soon it's gonna work, and it's gonna be awesome in here when it's 110 degrees outside. Hopefully it's like at least 85 in here. I would be happy. But I'm really hoping that it's like 78 or 76 in here when it's 110 outside, but I don't know if it can keep up that well. I think I'm gonna start tinkering and pulling this motor out. Really need to get that AC going, man. Woo, it's getting warm. It's not too bad though. Well, things have escalated. I got pretty much everything off, ready to yank it out. Turbo oil line there. And all that's really left is the motor mounts. I need to find my carb plate and just use a chain if I can't find my old carb plate. But yeah, pretty much everything off and out. Parts scattered everywhere between here and the bed of the truck. It's a mess. I'm not going to be pulling it out tonight though, because I am just drained. Oh yeah. We're gonna have us a nice cold drink. Tackle this sometime tomorrow. This engine is so far back against the firewall that it's just easier to get to all the connectors and grounds back here after I lifted it up, pulled it out a little bit. So all I got left right now is unhook these grounds from the back of the cylinder head and hopefully have enough clearance to my garage door to get this thing out. Alright, that should do it. Cutting out the core support for the radiator is made it much easier to get this thing in and out. Gonna be close. We got it. All right, engine's out. Got the garage door closed. We're out of that Satanist sun. But yeah, we're just gonna go over it. Do some checks. Make sure everything's still happy in there. A lot of guys ask me what motor mounts I'm running. These are the ones I made. Kind of gives you an indication of what they are, but I'm going to be switching to solid lower mounts. Show you here. So right now it's just got, like I said, I think these are stock Astrovan V6 mounts. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but they're pretty twisted and just, they move a lot when you're two-stepping and stuff. So I want to get them solid. But yeah, we got the engine out, transmission out. The S10 is no longer a functioning truck. In a matter of a couple hours, it went from 9-second capable truck to Flintstones. That's about all I'm going to do this video. We'll keep plugging along on this. I'll keep you guys up to date. But until then, we'll see you on the next one.